Hey everyone, it's Ben here from exercise.co.uk. We've got another video for you today and we are diving into the difference between free weights and fixed machines and the benefits between each one, pros and cons. So let's get stuck into it. So first up, we're going to talk about machines, fixed machines and the benefits that they have. So you'll see a lot of fixed machines in the gym, possibly normally a lot of different huge stations, but at home you can also get them in the form of a multi-gym, which is all of these different machines rolled into one compact machine. Now, the benefits of them, first off, they are so easy to use. Multi-gyms and fixed machines in general are designed to just sit on without really any experience at all and be able to exercise safely and comfortably without having that prior knowledge or expertise. So if you're starting out, fixed machines really do come into their own because they have a guided range of motion that you can't change, so that you know whichever range of motion that you exercise in, the machine's going to control that for you, and it's going to reduce the risk of injury, particularly as you're starting out. So they're a great way to help get your muscles familiarized with the feel of being trained. And particularly if you're training on your own as well, it allows you to really push yourself, but push yourself safely. So if you really want to push as many reps as you can or lift a slightly heavier weight than you maybe wouldn't feel comfortable with free weights, a fixed machine can be a great option for doing that as well. So if you're training on your home, particularly at home, multi-gyms and fixed machines can be a really good option. They're also so easy to do. If you want to change between stations, you generally just have a weight stack at the back of the gym that you can just pull a pin out and move it down to the next weight stack, or move it up if you want to reduce or increase the weight. And a lot of them now have really heavy weight stacks. So if you're looking normally 50 kilograms and above, if you're starting to get up to, you know, the 65-70 kilogram region, there's not many exercises where you're going to actually need that amount of weight. So if your concern is that you're going to be restricted by the weight, just make sure you get a slightly heavier weight stack so that you're catering for your strength as it progresses, so that it doesn't get to a point where you plateau and you hit that heaviest weight stack and it's feeling too light, but then you feel like you can't push yourself further. So just make sure you account for that and have more than enough weight than you need, so that you can keep progressing as you get stronger and you're developing further. You can also isolate the muscles really effectively with multi-gyms and fixed machines, so you can really focus on smaller muscle groups like your triceps, your biceps, your front deltoids, which is the front of your shoulder, your rear deltoids, or isolate just your chest as well. So you can be really specific with how you train your muscle groups. You can use larger what we call compound exercises, which train multiple muscle groups in one go, but you also have the option to use really focused specific exercises as well, so you don't just have to use large compound ones. And they do cater for every muscle group. Your standard multi-gym out of the box will cater for your legs, your chest, your abs, your arms, shoulders, back, every muscle group that you can think of. Those multi-gyms will be able to cater for as well. So if you have a concern about missing out on a particular major muscle group, you will be able to do it on your standard multi-gym, and some even come with more options as well as you go down the line. So particularly if you're just starting out, especially for the first month or so as you're training, we always recommend using fixed machines first. If you've never trained before, you certainly want to be using fixed machines, and they always have their place because they're so good at allowing you to train really heavy and overload your muscles, which is what's going to force the growth safely without being at risk, particularly when you're on your own. So next up, free weights. Okay, so free weights and the benefits of free weights, completely different to your fixed machines in every way. So free weights, you do lose that element of that fixed motion and that safety. It's not that they're unsafe, it's just if you haven't been familiarized with training before, free weights can be a bit of a leap to start with. But as you progress, we do always recommend transitioning from the fixed machines into free weights with a combination of the two, not knocking the fixed machines on the head completely. They still have their place, but bringing some free weight training into there as well. We definitely recommend that. They're particularly good for stability. So because you're using a natural path of motion, because you're not having to follow a fixed range, your arms can move freely or your legs can move freely. They can feel more natural and healthier for particularly your joints, your knees as well. So they really help you iron out any imbalances that you might have, because a lot of the time both arms have to, or both legs have to work equally where one can't help the other, which you can get on fixed machines sometimes. One arm can help push the other, or one leg can help lift the other one, so you get a weaker imbalance on one side. With free weights you don't get that. Both sides have to train equally, unless you're using a barbell, the long straight bars, which you can still get that. But if you're using dumbbells, then you will iron out all of those imbalances so that it allows both sides of your body to grow evenly. Moving on from that, they also transition more into functional strength. So the applications for using free weights more accurately simulate the type of lifts that you would do in everyday life. So they can help you from a functional perspective actually increase how strong your body feels in real life and transition that strength through. So what I mean by that is, for example, your lower back, which can be highly susceptible to getting injured, particularly because we're sat down so much in our sedentary office lifestyles for a large part. But if you're doing exercises like deadlifts, for example, or bent over rows, these all help to strengthen that lower back in a functional way, so you become less susceptible to injury. One other thing that they offer, which is one of the key selling points, or not selling points, just benefits of free weights over fixed machines, is the variety that you get. Because fixed machines are in their nature fixed to a specific type of motion, there are restrictions with the exercises. With free weights, go for it. The options are pretty much endless. With barbells, with dumbbells, you can train every single muscle group in a small area without having a big upfront cost quite comfortably. You just need some knowledge on how to do the exercises properly, because you have to make sure that your form is right while you're doing free weights. So there is a little bit more, or quite a lot more expertise required there, and knowledge that it's always worth going and doing some research. Like on our learning area, we have a lot of our 5 best exercises articles where you can go and see how to use those free weight exercises correctly and make sure you're doing them right. So you just need to have that knowledge of what exercises work, what muscle groups. So you just want to be making sure that an exercise that you're doing is working the intended muscle group, because sometimes there can be a little bit of confusion there. But overall, that variety is massively beneficial. It keeps you motivated because you've got such a plethora of options to go at. You can constantly keep changing up your routine, which keeps you progressing, because it stops your muscles becoming used to the same motions, because your muscles do have a memory, so they will become familiar and less susceptible to growing with familiar exercises over time. So it's important that you keep throwing that variety in there, and that's where free weights can really help benefit. The downside is that if you're using them on your own at home, you just have to be sensible with how heavy you lift, or make sure that you have safety functions in place. A lot of the racks that we offer have safety features on them, so that if the weight gets too heavy, you can let the weight rest on a bar if you're pushing yourself quite far. So we do always have a lot of safety features with our equipment, but particularly with free weights, dumbbells, just make sure that you're not being too extreme with how far you push yourself until you're really comfortable knowing your limits and how far you can take your limits without putting yourself at risk. So that's free weights all wrapped up. So this is a versus series, so we have to put one against the other and say which one is better. In reality, it's all about what works for you, so bit of a get out, but there are pros and cons to both. The fixed machines in reality are easier, but that isn't a bad thing. Free weights, we do argue, are more effective. but fixed machines certainly have their place, particularly if that's what you have access to. That will get you the results that you want to see, because they are great at overloading the muscle safely, which is one of the fundamentals of building muscle, is overloading, which we mean is using a heavier weight to create micro tears in the muscles, which then repair and get stronger each time you train. That's where fixed machines are great. Free weights, however, they are much healthier and they will help you feel much stronger overall from a functional perspective, and they will help focus and target in on the muscles in a much more effective way. So you will probably see the most effective results from free weights, but that's not to detract from fixed machines. At the same time, you can still get the benefits there. We do actually recommend supplementing both in there, so you get the best of both worlds, using free weights to get that really targeted muscle growth, and fixed machines to help overload the muscle groups. But if you don't have access to both, that's fine. You can just use one or the other and be a little bit creative with them as well. So we hope you found this video really useful. Stay tuned, because we'll have plenty more coming your way. We've got workouts and more of these educational tutorials as well. So don't forget to like, follow, share and subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned. We'll be back soon. Thank you.